Okay, let's talk about how we might divide a problem like this. So now for this, we have a divisor of x plus 1. And so I can turn this problem into x plus 1 is going to go into 9x3 minus 3x squared plus 6x minus 3. Now, of course, if we could, we would simply factor this out, and then we would cross out x plus 1, but I'm going to go ahead and promise you that you can't do that. So what would I need to multiply x by to get 9x cubed? I would multiply it by 9x squared, right? So that'd be 9x cubed, and then plus 9x squared. Now, I'm going to subtract here. When I subtract, I get 0. Then I have negative 3x squared minus 9x squared, and that's going to be minus 12x squared. Okay. Now I bring down the 6x. Okay. Now what do I multiply x by to get negative 12x squared? I would say if we multiply it by negative 12x, we would get exactly this. So I copy that down. Negative 12x times 1 is negative 12x. Next step is to subtract. So if I subtract, I get 0 by design, but 6x minus 12x, well, that kind of looks like it's going to be 18x. Okay, then I bring down the negative 3. What do I multiply x by to get 18x? I would multiply it by 18. So 18, I get 18x plus 18. Then 18x minus 18x is 0. Negative 3 minus 18 is minus 21. And that minus 21 is the remainder. That's why we weren't able to, divide this out. But now we can say that's how many times it goes in there with a remainder of negative 21. So I hope that process makes a lot more sense. Let's keep going with more examples, but I think that should be clear. Now, change my pen color. Now, again, if we could, we would just factor out x plus 3, but we would need the factors of 12 that add to 6. Well, I don't think that's going to quite work. So I'm going to rearrange this problem as x plus 3 will go into x squared plus 6x plus 12. So how many times can x go into x squared? X times. So x squared plus 3x. X times 3 is 3x. We subtract, you get 0. 6x minus 3x is 3x. Bring down that 12. So what do I need to multiply x by to get 3x? It would be 3. So I get 3x plus 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, I get 3. What do I multiply x by to get 3? Can't do it. So this is the remainder. Okay, so that's not too bad. It's just a process that you have to learn, but it's okay. Let's keep going. Change my pen color. Okay, so they're giving us this p of x here. Well, let's not worry too much about it. It just stands for polynomial. This d of x just stands for divisor, like we're going to divide. It's really the same old problem, just different numbers, but we can do it the same way. So let's just see if we can't divide this in there. So I'm going to copy it down. I'm going to make sure that my 9s don't look like 4s and my 4s don't look like 9s. But what would I multiply x by to get x cubed? Well, I think x squared would do it. So x cubed plus 8x squared, I'll subtract, that's 0. 11 minus 8, well, that would be 3x squared. I'll bring down this 29x. Okay, what do I multiply x by to get 3x squared? Looks like 3x would do, so 3x squared. 3 times 8 is 24. So that's 0. And then 29 minus 4 is going to be 5x. Okay. I'll bring down that 44. What do I multiply x by to get 5x? I think 5 would do. So I get 5x. 5 times 8 is 40. So that's 0. And then 44 minus 40 is 4. And right there, we can see that factoring would not do. We have a remainder of 4. Okay, not a big deal. You can even write this as r of x if you want. You could write this, and some people do write that as q of x as the quotient, like a quotient polynomial, but it's the same old thing. It's the same process. So the remainder is 4, and then this is the quotient. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's try another one. Okay, same setup. I think it's pretty much going to be the same old thing, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to divide x plus 2, or x plus 2 is going to go into x cubed, 4x squared, 9x, 14. Okay, so x times what equals x to the cubed? That would be x squared. So x cubed plus, and then that'd be 2x squared. Subtract, that goes to 0 by design. 4 minus 2 is 2x squared. I'll bring down the 9x. What do I multiply x by to get 2x squared? 2x. So I get 2x squared plus 4x. A lot of potentials to mess up with 9 and 4s in my problem set. But anyway, that goes to 0, and then 9 minus 4 is 5x. Bring down the 14. What do I multiply x by to get 5x? I think 5 ought to do. So 5 times, that'd be 5x plus 10. Subtract, that goes to 0 by design, and that would be 4. And this is the remainder, okay? Now you can call that r of x if you want. You could call that q of x if you want, but it's really the same process. It's just long division, okay? So I hope that that helps. See if there's anything else, problems I might help with. This one looks good. Let's try this one. Right away, I'm noticing something different about this problem, and that is it's missing a term. It's missing the x cubed term. Now, if you took my 023 class, you know that we had a specific technique to help with this, and I'm going to use that technique now. So let me show you what that is. So I'm going to add in 0 x cubed, okay? Now I can do that because it's 0. You can always add 0 to equations or whatever expressions, whatever you want. This is going to help with a lot of the arithmetic. If you don't believe me or you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I find that this helps with students when they're first learning this, is to look and see, am I missing any terms? As a matter of fact, we are in this one, so I'm going to add that 0. Well, let's get into it. Maybe you'll see why. What do I multiply x by to get x to the 4th? That would be x cubed. So I go x to the 4th minus 5x cubed. And right there, this is why it's helpful, because I have 0 minus 5x cubed. And sometimes it's confusing if you don't have anything there to subtract. So I'm going to bring down the negative 25x squared. What do I multiply x by to get 5x cubed? I would say it's 5x squared. So that would be 5x cubed and then plus 25x squared, right? I believe this is correct. Let me see. 5 times negative 5 is negative. All right, so I did make a mistake there. Negative 25x squared. Yes, that looks better. So that goes to 0, and actually this goes to 0 too. So because these are equal and opposites, that goes to 0. So I will bring down my 2x, and I actually have to bring down 2 here because I ran out of terms. What do I multiply x by to get 2x? I would multiply it by 2. So I get 2x minus 10. Yeah, so that goes to, this part goes to 0, then 2 minus 10, that's 12. Okay, so that looks like that's going to be a remainder of 12. All right, not too bad, not too bad.